exciting edition of American Warrior Radio right here on the Talk to Me station, AM 1060 WMEL, and online worldwide at 1060WMEL.com. This is the place to be for news, notes, interviews, and current events for all issues military and veteran related. If you or someone you know has ever worn the uniform of the U.S. Coast Guard, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, or National Guard or Reserves, you've come to the right place. It's American Warrior Radio. Folks, this program is all about supporting our troops and their families, both past and present. So please get comfortable, grab a nice beverage. Don't forget a pen and paper, because Glenn and I are always efforting to bring you important information that you can use and share with others. With that said, let's roll down the runway and get this show off the ground. You all know me. I'm Garen Cohn. I'm an Air Force veteran, a retired legal advocate for veterans, and founder of AVET Project, but all you regular listeners know that I never fly through the airwaves alone.
Good morning. I'm Glenn McGuffey. I'm retired Air Force, and I'm the retired manager of the Brevard County Veteran Services Team, where it was my honor to help our veterans and eligible dependents gain VA benefits earned by the service to our great nation by the veteran. And I did that for a little over 22 years, and it's approaching 3 years now since I retired that I'm doing it. You bet, my pleasure. And been doing that as a volunteer for AVET and American Legion Post 200. And thank you, American Legion Post 200, for providing me a workspace, a computer, and the other tools that I need to do an effective job in helping our veterans and their dependents gain those benefits I was talking about. Today, we've got 3 special guests, and
it's a jam-packed show. There's no kidding. But Glenn, I have to ask you, if I'm a veteran out there here on the Space Coast or somewhere else, I could be even in Korea where we have listeners, Afghanistan, maybe Oregon or Maine, and I've got a question specific to a VA benefit. How can I get in touch with you?
Well, good question. I need you to email me at Glenn with 2 N's, GLENN, at AVETproject, AVETproject.org. That's Glenn at AVETproject.org. And I'll get back to you by email, and we'll work out some way to solve your problem for you.
Couple of quick announcements before we get into the heart of the matters here on American Warrior Radio. Great opportunity for you to come out and meet some wonderful folks that share similar values and love for this country. Real patriotic event. It's the Melbourne Chambers Veterans Resource Council Breakfast. We hold these periodically throughout the year. Well, this Wednesday, June 22nd at 7:30 in the morning at the Hilton Melbourne Beach Oceanfront. Okay, that's the Hilton Melbourne Beach Oceanfront. The VRC is hosting a breakfast with a wonderful speaker, Brigadier General Ralph Licurio. And we're also going to be hearing from our local Coast Guard station at Port Canaveral from Chief, he's the XPO Petty Officer Greg Clampt. He's going to give us some information as to what's going on out at the Coast Guard station during breakfast. And we're also proud to present retired Army Sergeant Joel Ramos as our chaplain for the event. So you don't want to miss that. If you're interested, you can find the information by going to the website, AVETproject.org. Just scroll down the left margin, click on the Facebook icon. It's all going to be there. And of course, you can find information on the American Warrior Radio's Facebook page as well. And
let me real quick foot stomp that's the Hilton in Melbourne Beach, because there's a Hilton in Cocoa Beach, and I don't want you going to the wrong place and then be late because you got another 40-minute drive.
Exactly. Hilton Melbourne Beach Oceanfront is 3003 North Highway A1A in Melbourne. But that's June 22nd, 7:30. Try to make that. It's inexpensive. It's a wonderful way to network and meet other people with similar values. And obviously, the American theme is present at all VRC meetings and events. We also have a special, I have to mention this, we got a special little bump in at the bottom of the hour from Doug Torpy with Frog Bones Family Shooting Center regarding, well, what's going on there, plus AVET Project's PMR 30 drawing that Kel-Tec provided this weapon for us to raffle off. Tickets are available. We'll be talking to Doug here in just a little bit. But you know what? We haven't had one of these in such a long time, and I'm anxious and excited to get to it. Vince, cue that bosun call. in studios live with us is Commander Riley Gatewood. He is your captain, the United States Coast Guard Cutter Vigilant. Sir, thank you for joining us again.
You're welcome. Good afternoon.
Well, there's so much to talk about because you just came back from a patrol, which is
Yes.
what you call, when you get underway and you go out on a tour or a deployment, you call it a patrol.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
This was a long one for us, but they ended up pushing us through the Panama Canal. Went through the Panama Canal over to the Eastern Pacific side and joined several other ships, U.S. Coast Guard ships, Canadian ships, U.S. naval ships, and again, it was a counter-narcotics mission looking for drugs bound for the United States.
And in the newsletter, and I don't know if that's publicly available, but I was able to look at it. Really well done. And you really kind of described the happenings there. This is a big deal going through the Panama Canal.
It is. It is. It's a little. You have to be on your game, navigation-wise. Get through the canal. You know, to get through the locks themselves, they just hook up some locomotives and kind of pull you through that short segment. But you have to navigate the rest of the 41-mile channel, very narrow channel, and get to the other end so you can get into the Pacific Ocean safely.
Without scraping the paint off the side of the
Yes.
ship.
How long does that take?
It takes anywhere from 10 to 12 hours.
Oh, wow.
Right, and we do it throughout the middle of the night, so, you know, it's
What's the reason for that?
It's a cost analysis. It's cheaper to go through the Panama Canal at night.
And the reason being, really,
Being
well, if you're a cruise ship and you've got passengers paying passengers,
Yes.
tell the difference there.
yes, paying passengers want to see everything that the Panama Canal has to offer. There's a lot to see there. The way they cut through the rock and the mountainside to get from one ocean to the other. So we don't get to enjoy those views, but we got to enjoy the Pacific Ocean. Once we got to that side, went straight to work. We had an opportunity to rendezvous with the Ecuadorian Navy, and while we were over there, we
I didn't know Ecuador had a navy.
right,
So.
and we slipped down and crossed the equator, which was a blast. We had 64 crew members that had never crossed the equator, and they start out as polywogs. We put them through an initiation line crossing, and then they become shellbacks like the rest of us.
And you actually have a tattoo that you're a
Yes,
shellback, and
I
you've
do.
had multiple crossings, but.
Right.
And what about when you're going through the Panama Canal, though? That's a special event, too, for these young sailors.
It is, and there's a certificate that goes with that one as well. It's called the Order of the Ditch. But there's no ceremony that goes with that like there is that goes with a line crossing like the equator or the International Date Line or the Arctic Circle, things like that.
And you have crossed the Arctic Circle before also.
Yes, I have.
So you're just filled with tattoos of places you've been around the world.
Right.
And the neat thing there is you mentioned some 60 of your crew had not done that before, so you've got a young crew.
Right.
Not that they're inexperienced, they just hadn't done that yet.
Correct.
What's the crew? What's the crew size on the U.S. Coast Guard Cutter Vigilant?
Yeah, there's 74 of us, and I had 64 that had not crossed.
Wow.
And they must have been thrilled, even though it's in the middle of the night, to do something that very few humans are ever going to do.
Correct. Right. They were thrilled. They were thrilled. A little bit nervous, a little bit anxious about what to expect for the initiation, which I can't talk about unless you cross the equator with me.
Okay.
See, confidential. You got to join the Coast Guard and hope you get under
Right.
captain's control there. All right. So then your mission was to go over and kind of it's a joint task force. How's that work?
Well, we go over, we're working for Joint Interagency Task Force East out of Key West, Florida. You know, we're targeting vessels that are smuggling contraband bound for the United States. Sometimes they try to land it in Central America, but we know where those drugs are eventually bound for, which is the United States. And we hit them in international waters.
And this is a bosun call with Commander Riley Gatewood, captain of the U.S. Coast Guard Cutter Vigilant. All right, so you did that, you came back. Your newsletter isn't public knowledge, is it?
It is not.
So how can people find out a little bit about what you do? Maybe they've got a young one that's interested in joining the Coast Guard or whatever. How can they find out more about it?
There is on Facebook, there's actually a U.S. Coast Guard, it's not sponsored by the Coast Guard, but there's a lot of Coast Guard news articles on there. So if you do U.S. Coast Guard news on Facebook, you can see a lot of these success patrols by all of the Coast Guard ships when they go out, and aircraft.
Probably been vetted through your public affairs
have.
office and what have you.
They have.
Okay, so now your ship is in port right now. What's next?
Right. So we go through a maintenance period. Everything you have to do all the maintenance.
Why? I thought you had brand new boats.
Right. No. We just went over 51 years old. That ship did.
Wow.
You wouldn't know it if you look at her. We want to make sure we take care of the assets that the taxpayers are paying for, and we need to rely on that asset when I'm pretty deep offshore. So we'll take care of the maintenance. Give the crew a little bit of downtime, a little bit of time with their family, get back underway mid-July, and go get it again. Of course, our primary mission of search and rescue starts first. You got to get through the Florida Straits, which could be Cuban migrant interdiction. That's been a little bit of an uptick on the uprise with what's going on there with Cuba. They're a little bit anxious and nervous to, is there going to be a change in policy with Cuba with the change in presidency? And I don't know the answer to that as well, but they're nervous and they're coming off in bigger numbers right now.
Okay, which is going to increase your workload
It does.
exponentially, I'm sure.
Well, I understand you've also got a new XO. Can you tell us a little about that?
I do have a new XO. We actually served together out of Key West. I was the captain of the Cutter Monhegan, a patrol boat out of Key West for 2 years, and Matt Rooney is my new XO, just reported aboard. And he sailed with me there, so he understands the mission. He's also been the captain of his own patrol boat as well, out of Key West.
What's the size of a patrol boat versus your ship?
110 feet is the patrol boat, and 210 feet is what we're operating now. We have a flight deck on our ship, as opposed to a patrol boat does not.
Right, you have a flight deck for a helo
Yes.
to come in and assist with the mission,
Yes.
and you have fast boats that you can launch and go after the bad guys.
That is correct, 2 of them. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I really appreciate you spending some time with us, and I know you're busy and you got a weekend, and when you're in port, you want to spend a little time with the family.
I do.
So, Riley, Commander Gatewood, thank you so much for spending some time with us
Thank
here
you.
on American Warrior Radio. And let's stay in touch. We'd love a ship-to-shore call sometime in the future.
Will do.
Awesome, brother. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
And thank you for your service to our country.
No, you're welcome. I just went over 31 years service. And
Get out of here.
31 years. I'm prior
Congratulations.
enlisted, but yeah, still going until they tell me it's time to go.
Prior enlisted, which is what we're going to talk about later. I'm really impressed because that means you're a Mustang.
Yes.
People, there's a different status assigned to that, Glenn.
Yeah, well,
He's an officer, so he's like, I don't know that.
basically a Mustang is someone who served some time as an enlisted person in whatever branch of the military they
Yes.
were in, and then they get into a program where they get a college degree and then they become an officer.
Yes.
And there's status, there's prestige with that because your sailors know, hey, this man's been where I am now.
That's correct.
Well, awesome, brother. Thanks again
You're
so
welcome.
much, and safe travels out there on the seas. Okay.
Okay.
Glenn, we've got a lot more to get to, so I just want to let everybody know that when you're interested in looking up the Coast Guard, you can go Google it. Okay, just find out some information. There are some specific sites, and I'll get them. I know they're up on AVET Project's website and Facebook page, but find out what's going on, because too often we have people come up and say, well, I don't know what the Coast Guard does. What do they do?
Yeah, exactly, and tell them how to access the site for AVET on Facebook and the internet.
Exactly. It's real easy. All you got to do is just go to the website, avetproject.org, scroll down, and you'll see the Facebook icon. Click on it, okay? If you're interested in the American Warrior Radio Facebook page, which I know thousands of you are, just go to 1060wmel.com, click on schedule, scroll down to Saturday, and find our Facebook icon. Click on it and you go right to American Warrior Radio's Facebook page. But you know what? There's also loads of information on Benefits for Veterans, which is a Facebook page that Kim Cohn, our executive director, set up. And also Boaz and Koa have their own. So lots of ways to access information that, like we say, you can use and share with others.
Yeah, and let me repeat again. Well, I'm not repeating, but let me say, I'm repeating from other shows, that that's an excellent website to get information about VA benefits and get that info and make you smart about what you might qualify for. But please use an accredited representative to help you file the claim. I'm an accredited representative. There's some others around, but find out if they're accredited. Ask them that. Not certified. There's a lot of them will say they're certified because they've gone to a 4-hour course on a day or something, but that's not the same as accredited. That's
Exactly.
much more training involved to be accredited.
That's
so.
right. There's a big distinction there. Hey, Glenn, I'm really excited because we have in studio with us our next guest, who happens to be a cadet with the United States Air Force Junior ROTC Command out of Satellite Beach High School, none other than Luli Duren. Thank you so much.
Hello.
Are you having a good morning so far?
I'm having an outstanding morning. That conversation was incredible.
Well, that's what you get here on American Warrior
That's right.
Radio. And it is, folks, but we're interested in what's going on with you. Tell us a little about yourself.
Well, I'm Cadet Technical Sergeant Duren Callow at Satellite High's AFJROTC, as previously mentioned. I am now the finance officer, and I plan on enlisting after completing this final year. I'm a senior now.
So you're going into your senior year.
Yes.
How many years of junior ROTC you've got?
All 4.
All 4. What are some of the things that you've learned? What have you experienced?
ROTC is really an amazing program. I mean, they teach you the core values of service before self, excellence in all you do, integrity first. Like, I cannot emphasize enough how much I've learned through that program about responsibility and all that.
Things that your fellow classmates are not learning if they're not in ROTC. It's
Yeah.
really a great program, and it helps so many. Plus, you help the community, too.
So much, yeah. And that's why I came here to talk to you today about an upcoming fundraiser that we're doing to help, hoping that someone will give back to us the way that we give back to them. I mean, we do so much for our community, and we need the funds to continue to do so. This is called the Flag Fundraiser. You can find it on Facebook. And basically what we will be doing is from Satellite Beach to Indian Harbor, our cadets, in joint with the Touchdown Club, which is the Satellite High football team, we will
Which
be...
has run this program in the past.
Yes.
Tell us, what is the program? Yeah.
Yeah, basically what we do is we put an American flag for 4th of July on every property, like every residence from Satellite Beach to Indian Harbor. Attached to the flag is a self-addressed envelope with some information about both of our programs, and a little like message of love, I guess you could say. And we're just looking for donations to help support both of our teams so that we can continue doing what we do.
And that's super important. So as people start to see, and this is wonderful because you mentioned, is it the Touchdown Club or what?
Touchdown Club,
The
yes.
Touchdown Club has done this in years past, Glenn, and you live over there on Beachside, where they'll come and put the flag out in front of every residence. It really brightens the place up. It looks so patriotic.
Yeah.
So you're partnering with them to expand the reach and share reap the rewards and share it.
Yeah, they needed the help because, I mean, there's thousands and thousands of homes, and we have to do it all on June 30th, which is the day we'll be doing it, June 30th.
Okay.
It's like a dusk till dawn type thing. Like, it goes on.
Sure.
It's so much work.
Well, how many cadets are you going to have out there working the streets, putting the flags in?
We're shooting for approximately 40 cadets and their families, so hopefully 80 people for our side, and then with the Touchdown team, it's hopefully another 30 to 40.
Okay, this sounds exciting. So as people drive into their drive and they see a flag sitting there, they're going, where'd that come from? Especially if they're new to the neighborhood, because this has been going on for a few years now.
Yeah, but they, as you said, they're going to have a little envelope with it to explain the program and ask for a donation.
Yes.
And folks, I strongly encourage you to donate. That you can't find a finer program than this to donate your hard-earned money to.
And it's right there, and you get something out of it. You get all the beautification of the neighborhood. Have you been involved in other fundraising activities?
Other fundraising activities, not particularly with the Touchdown Club, but yes, we have tons of fundraisers throughout the year, and we're always looking for the donations.
Okay, what do the donations go towards? So our listeners know, particularly here in Satellite Beach and Indian Harbor Beach, if they give money, where's it going to go? How's it going to support your program?
Primarily to helping more community service efforts. We do honor guards in all types of locations across Florida, and the traveling, is a lot. So besides honor guard, we do a lot of beautification, restoration. We do, we work with, the VA and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we just need the help.
Okay, very good. Now, you are coming into your senior year.
Yes.
You mentioned that you've completed now 4 years of junior ROTC. Do you have designs on going into college through ROTC? Are you going to list? Is it kind of up in the air? What are you interested in?
I mean, the dream is to get into the Air Force Academy and then hopefully pursue a career there through doing meteorology. If not, then I just join ROTC here in Florida.
Okay, and pursue the same type of
Same
skill?
meteorology, yes.
Okay, and how did you come upon that? What interested you in joining the junior ROTC in the first place?
I come from a long line of Air Force, and they really encouraged me to join the program because, like I said, like it's such an excellent program. I really can't emphasize that enough. Like there's just so many things about responsibility and leadership too, especially like I came in not knowing that I was gonna be like finance officer. I was just like bottom of the food chain, and here I am, and I've come so far.
And as finance officer, obviously you're the one that keeps the purse strings and you know where the money's going and what's happening.
Yes, I'm
so
in charge.
you're very much aware of how these funds are going to help your program.
Yes, I'm in charge of all the funds, fundraising. Before that, I was public affairs officer. And before that, I was like an element leader. Like we go through all the processes. I went from like an enlisted rank to an officer rank. It's really cool. And we learn so much about the military. It really prepares us.
And I want to mention your commander there, Colonel Fish. What can you say about him? All good now.
Oh, good. I mean, we have Colonel Fish and we have Chief Ludwig. They're both excellent. Chief just recently joined us, and he's been an amazing asset to our team. Like, he really helps us out with all of his knowledge. He's been in the service for so long. And Colonel as well, he really teaches us a lot about those leadership skills that we need to know.
Yeah, and I want to thank you from American Legion's point of view for the help you give us on special Veterans Days like Memorial Day and Veterans Day, and coming out and helping with the ceremony and raising and lowering the flag as appropriate. It's wonderful to see the young people committed to helping with those kind of efforts.
And the
Thank you.
community loves to see you guys and gals out there too. What's the breakdown, male to female ratio? Can you give me an idea?
It's pretty, I'd say like 60-40. It's pretty good, yeah. And everyone's welcome to join ROTC. It's a program for everyone. Like, there's no limitations.
Okay, so you enlisted or you joined Junior ROTC and they assigned a rank. For one of your fellow classmates, or maybe they're listening in Ocala, wherever they're at, if they're interested in a Junior ROTC, what can they expect? And we only have about 30 seconds here, but what can they expect as far as when the door first opens? What happens?
I mean, you come in and you're an airman basic, like everyone else.
Like the rest of us.
Yeah, and then you, like, build your way up. You, like, climb the ladder. Depending on how you dedicate yourself to the program, what you give back by doing those extracurriculars, by doing that community service that some of us do, and you just slowly get, like every year you get a higher rank, but through your own accord you can then go into the officer ranks.
Outstanding. Well, much luck and success to you, not just on the fundraising, but on your career choice too, finishing up your senior year. Again, this is Cadet Lily Duran. I can call you Lily, right?
That's fine, yes.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks for joining us, okay? And thanks
It's been a
again.
pleasure.
This is sincere. We're really happy to have you guys and gals out there in the community doing a whole host of different things for all of us. So, job well done. Continue it. June 30th, you're going to be out
30th.
planting flags. People, load the envelopes with cash and send
Be
it.
ready.
Write a check, probably. You want a check.
Yeah.
And leave that flag in your yard.
That's right. Beautifies the
Ready.
community. Thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
us, and best of luck. Glenn, the first hour of American Warrior Radio, first half hour, always just flies right by.
Yeah.
But we've got an exciting second segment coming up here, so none of you go anywhere, all right? We've got a report from Doug Torpy with Frogbones Family Shooting Center, and then we've got a special guest coming in to discuss a really hot topic within the VA. You don't want to miss it, because all you people that are up in arms over having really super qualified nurses take over some roles and responsibilities of doctors, we're going to explain it to you so you don't have to have a hot head anymore. We're going to make it real simple. Don't go anywhere. American Warrior Radio is going to be right back here on the Talk to Me station, AM 1060 WMEL.